Welcome aboard, all you wonderful groomers, pet stylists, and canine cosmetologists. You found the Traveling Groomers Podcast, where we discuss lessons learned from mobile and house call grooming. I'm one of your hosts, Chris Bear Anthony. Any moment now, we'll be joined by my co-host and friend, retired mobile groomer and educator extraordinaire, Mary Oquendo, and very likely a special guest to help us chat about all things grooming, grooming industry related, and just plain fun digressions that I will totally wrangle back to topic. Grab those travel mugs and climb aboard to see where today's topic will bring us. Let's roll.
Yeah.
Hello. Oh, we have two special guests.
Sorry.
Apparently, for those of you watching. Hi, Mary. Hi, Gavin.
Hey, Chris. We also have another guest, too.
Oh,
have
hello, Pooh.
Pooh Bear.
Pooh is
Bear.
not a guest. He's a regular.
He's kind of a host.
Yeah, he's just a bonus host. But yeah, where
Hi.
I'm hi Kayla. Hi. Wow, I'm just going to start where I normally start and gather myself. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 282. We are now sort of almost in the correct order. We are recording this on October 23rd, and it will air on October 30th. Welcome.
Hey, Kayla.
Hello.
Kayla was recently a guest on Women Petpreneurs.
Ooh.
I think that was before Worlds, wasn't it?
It was. I'm trying to actually remember when it was. It's
Oh,
like August?
don't ask me what the episode number is. I have no idea.
I don't. It was this summer because it was warm.
Yes.
So that was definitely before Worlds.
Yep.
Yes, it was before.
Okay, which
Although
we're
Gavin
going
was-
to talk about because that was super exciting.
It was awesome.
Okay, so let's see Gavin. So
Gavin is laying on me now. Hold on.
Aw.
Oh, geez. Did I just break it? What did I?
No, you're fine.
All
We
right.
see you. Where you're
There we
fine.
go. Gavin is laying. I don't know if you can see him.
Yeah, aw.
He was asleep on the floor and now has decided to
Okay,
grace us with his presence.
is that a poodle comforter? No, that's your
No.
t-shirt.
No,
Okay.
it's my shirt. It's the nightmare before Christmas with the poodle.
Oh, that's awesome. See, we're very, very topical.
Would you?
Very
Oh,
mindful.
Come
Not demure at fuck all.
okay.
This is what I'm trying to get him not hang up. Ooh,
Oh, you're
I do.
trying to get him to not just randomly start hitting buttons on your laptop and
He will. He's really bad. All right, there we go. See, you can stay next to me and be happy. He's kind of pissed off because he's like his ears are up.
Aw.
We're going to a show this weekend, so
What
all
show
of the
are you going to?
dogs. It's in West Springfield. It's actually where New England Groom Show pretty much is, but it's at the Biggie. And I have him and Willow gonna show, and then Ari's just clean because for once all my dogs are clean.
Because sometimes you just have to go, yeah, everybody
I
get in the
gotta do
goddamn
all
tub.
Would you like to know why all my dogs are clean, Chris?
Because you hired someone to do it.
That would be my guess too. Because you paid someone else.
To do. They were boarded while I was not at Fun in the Sun, because we all know what happened there.
I loved having time off.
I had time off, and they were being boarded. So I'm like, hey, before I pick them up, okay, you're good for a little while.
I just hear banging and the camera goes back to Chris, who's just gone.
Alric is just finding stuff to get into.
Well, mine is currently punching me, so it's, it's a thing. It's fine. It's a vibe. Poodles.
They are simultaneously the best and the worst. No, I can't say they're the worst, but they're the best, and they're
Oh yeah.
like,
You should wait till you meet my new puppy.
Oh,
I mean, she's not really new. I've now had her for almost a year, but it still feels new.
feels.
She's brilliantly insane and probably has ADHD.
Right. So I
But
have,
So it's a poodle.
yeah, yeah.
So she's a poodle.
It's Gavin's future girlfriend.
all right. So I got a question. You brought Gavin to Worlds.
I did.
All right. What did that entail?
So, oh God.
Yeah,
So
traveling
luckily,
overseas.
and one of the reasons Gavin's probably only going to be in coat for another year, he is my service animal. So, um, I don't typically have him on duty at the shows because he likes to mingle. And honestly, if I'm with people, I don't need him for his intended purpose. It's when I'm alone that I do, like if I'm in my van or something. Um, so it was, oh God, the prep for it probably started in May. Um, finding a USDA accredited vet for my international health certificate was one. Then it was getting the airline, calling the airline, making sure they had him registered. I had to get his DOT form so that he could come on the plane with me. The relief form, which basically means that my dog will not relieve himself on the plane. And if he does, I have a way to do it in a sanitary manner. You actually have to describe what that manner is. I mean, you could say feedback, they're trained to go on command. He is trained to go on command, so good. So then you have a USDA vet that will do, which my health certificate did have many hiccups. It was awful. But we went up to we had to go up to his repro vet because I was having a hard time finding a vet that would do it. And what ended up happening was we got up there, and for some reason, some part of his accreditation, because he was in New Hampshire, he couldn't do mine, even if it was Massachusetts. I have since found out that was incorrect, but it ended up working out. Basically, you go up based on the country you're flying into. We chose to fly to France because the requirements aren't as strict. But once you're in Europe and the EU, you can then travel almost like you would travel like in the US over states. As long as you have rabies, you're fine. So getting the rabies had to be done within a certain amount of time, or you had to be able to trace all of them, which I have all of Gavin's records because he's with me. You just don't want to lapse in your rabies. Because if it lapsed, your dog could, I don't know, it's things. And so basically, within 10 days of leaving, you have to have the certificate from hell, we'll call it. And what you do is you go up, they do the thing, they say they're healthy, and they mail it, or they electronically submit it to the USDA office, which then they will go over it. You can follow the how it's going and where it's at, if it's in process, and yada yada. And then they have to mail it to you overnight. And you basically just hope and pray nothing gets rejected, because the health certificate was like 12 pages long. It was absurd. Gavin's actually got, this is him right now because he knows I'm talking about it.
That's
Yeah.
yeah, that looks familiar.
Gavin's actually got rejected initially, and we were like 3 days out from I need it now. It was something really, really, really stupid. Basically, one of the codes for their version of the zip code had one number that just had a space, and my vet didn't put the space. So they were like, this goes to a different country. And it's like, no. Anyway, they ended up figuring it out. I had several heart attacks. I was also in my van. And I swear, when you need service and you're mobile, you never have service. So I'm like checking everything. Oh, it was ridiculous. So finally I got it. They overnight it. You get the tracking. Everything's fine. So basically, you send all that to your airline within 48 hours. So you have your health certificate, your DOT form, your relief form, your rabies. What else did you have, buddy? I think that was everything you had. And then on the way back, you need your CDC form and all those forms I just spoke about to come back in the country. It's a lot. It's not exactly cheap either, I will say. But yeah, it basically.
At least he didn't have to sit in quarantine.
Exactly. Like if we had gone to like think it's Ireland, but don't quote me on this. If they need tapeworm treatment, then you need a negative test of tapeworm within so many hours. If you fly into, I think it's, I might be wrong, but there's another country that if you fly into, it's like a week quarantine. France is really cool, and they honestly were great on the plane. They were great when we got there, no issues. Got in the rental van, got to Belgium, everything was fine. And Europe is way more dog friendly. Oh my God. Also, when you fly into France with a poodle, nobody really has a problem. Um, Gavin also thinks that macarons are delicious. And
Even though they're German dogs, everybody is like, they're still the
everyone says
national
they're
dog of
French.
France.
I'm like, the French just took them and made them for
Yeah.
free. They're German engineered, but it's fine. They can have their toy and their mini poodle. They can do what they want. It's cool. Um, but no, he was quite the attraction walking around. Um, but yeah, I want to say it probably took 6 months to get everything, all my ducks in order, and then it literally comes down to that last week of every paper needs to come back okay, and you need to be okay, otherwise you're not getting on that plane. Um,
That's
like
terrifying.
there was like a couple of people on the team that were having issues. One was not able to go because there was something with their rabies when it had been given, and I guess there was a lapse somewhere. And they weren't able to bring their dog. A few others were ready to drive to the USDA office. I think Summer actually drove to pick it up because she didn't want to. She lives close enough and didn't want to deal with the mail. I am
get that.
about 8 hours from it. So from where, like, because we have one in New York.
Mhm.
So I mean, if I had to, I would have done it, but that's 16 hours of driving. I'm good.
That's in New York State or in the city?
New York upstate, I think.
Oh,
When I
okay.
plugged it in, it was 8 hours, and I knew New York City's 4, so it was
Yeah.
north.
Oh, wow. Yeah. No, nobody, sorry, Buffalo people, but nobody who's not in that area wants to drive up to like Buffalo and Syracuse because it's,
No, and I do it a lot, oddly enough, but I don't know why. But it's a pretty area, though.
oh no,
Someday,
it's lovely up
so,
there.
someday I'll stop and see Niagara Falls. Like the last time I went to All American, we brought our passports because we were like, well, they say to see it from Canada is better, so let's bring our passports. And I always just forget. Finally, we remembered. Did we stop? No, because we were exhausted.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was fun. And then the others that went, like I know Jacob and Summer, they have their dogs in the hold, um, and their dogs are fine. And I guess they have video of the hold. They're
Oh.
not like in with the luggage compartment. It's its own thing.
So it
And it
has
was
pressure and,
Yeah,
okay,
it
okay.
has pressure, it has AC, it's everything they need. In some airlines, apparently the flight attendants do have access to it if they have to go down and like
Right.
give them water or something. I still would probably be a nervous wreck. But I don't know if you would have heard Gavin howl the entire way probably. But it was fun. It was good. Um,
Alaric is just helping me clean my office by just finding loose things to eat. So
well,
on that note, we're going to take our first commercial break because
okay.
I'm not going to scream at him offline. Am I? Who knows? We'll find out. And speaking of continuing education, because we either were or will be, join the Andis World Class Education Team each month for live interactive virtual classes. You'll learn new and trending styles, as well as tips and tricks from some of the best groomers in the industry. Whether you're looking for basic skills, trending styles, advanced techniques, or even just ways to spark your creativity, the new Andis Grooming Education site is your source for finding what you need to create your way for success. Try new techniques, learn from the pros, and grow your confidence today at andis.com/groomer education. Traveling Groomer Podcast listeners, hey, that's you, can get 25% off your first course today with the code VEGROOMING at checkout on andis.com/groomer education. All righty. So thank God he's your service dog.
Mm-hmm.
Because that helped a lot.
Yeah,
And
it did.
so that begs the next question. What level of rage does it give you when someone asks to see his papers?
Oh, it depends who's asking. Someone that should know better.
Like at a restaurant or a hotel?
I get kind of excited because then I could basically make them feel stupid. I also feel like, well, not stupid, I shouldn't say that. But I also feel it's that point of education. I also carry a stack of cards with all the ADA laws on them.
No, that's
And I also wonder sometimes, like airlines or a restaurant, if that is their sneaky way of finding out if your dog's legitimate. Because if you have an illegitimate, is that a word?
yeah, I mean,
If someone asks you, do you have the papers? And they're like, yeah, here. Technically, there are no papers. Now in Europe, there is in Europe.
okay.
There is a, but I wasn't asked for anything. I mean, he's so well behaved half the time.
I feel like the impression we have in America of Europe is that as long as your dog's not being an ass, the dog is everywhere with the people, and just
Basically.
nobody even says anything.
Nobody thinks twice about it. Which
There's dogs that are not real service dogs. 90% of the time, you can pick that out like that. All right?
quickly.
Oh,
Very quickly.
you want to hear a funny story?
Yeah, always.
So, after Hershey, Mindy and I grabbed my husband because she was driving through Newark. So grabbed my husband and we went to get hot pot because they have the individual things. So it's of broth. So it's one of those things where I can get all the veggies, he can get all the meat. We can have, everybody can be happy. And we've been there before with Mindy. And we were in the back towards the like condiment area. And she sits back down and the waiter comes over and you could kind of tell he wanted to die because they had gotten a complaint, like one of the other staff that gotten a complaint because someone was allergic and asked if we could move. So the answer was no, we can't. And he's like, oh, okay, I just had to ask. And I was all ready to be mad because this is a restaurant we go to fairly regularly. And I was mouthing off like, really? They're asking the amputee to move? No, they can take their legs and move if there's a problem. Like I was like, you can imagine the shit that was flying out of my mouth.
Oh man.
About the people who complained. Like they only knew.
I would have said like, what if they were allergic to a wheelchair? Would you ask me to move the wheelchair?
Right. Would you ask me to leave the wheelchair outside? This is I mean, I was like stupid. And I'm like, they didn't even know he was there because I'm sure Gavin's the same way. Luke just goes in, he goes under the table. You don't know he's there.
You don't know.
The only reason is she got up to go get like the assorted condiments and the little salad bar thingy. That's the only reason they even knew he was there. And he's a poodle. He's not going to be, he was
of all
freshly
breeds
washed,
that are going to make you like
have an allergic reaction. No, he's not shedding. He's not. I was mad. I was mouthing off, not so much to the waiter. So then later, the manager came over, and this is really a good customer service. And the manager came up because I was like, which one's the manager? I'm gonna have words before we go. I was ready for a fight. And Mindy was just like, I can't with this. She's just let her go off. So the manager comes over and apologizes profusely. He's like, I know we're not supposed to. I'm so sorry. Have free drinks. Like, he's like, I felt like I had to ask. It was the people in the booth directly behind us. So there's no way they didn't hear my fucking mouth go off saying, what the hell is wrong with them? Asking the amputee to move to a different table. Why don't they? There's no way they didn't hear me. And the manager like really apologized. He's like, I didn't know what to do because I knew they would be mad if I didn't say anything. And I know I wasn't supposed to say it. And he was like, he apologized. Like, he made it all better. Cause so now I just, like, it just took all the steam right off.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you poor bastard. That
He was
really,
probably horrified.
he was horrified into a coma. You could tell he felt awful and just miserable about the entire situation. And the only thing I'm going to giggle about this for the next year is that they heard me.
Oh, I love that they heard you. That even makes it better.
That does, because there's no way they didn't. They were right. They were in the booth behind us. It's the back-to-back booth thingies. No, they heard me. That was, I figured
I mean, what stinks is there's so many people with fake ones, but it's like, if you just take a second and watch them, and like I got complimented a couple times going to the airport because like he got on the people mover, he went up to us, but like he's trained and he ignored everything. There was a drug sniffing dog went by, tunnel vision. Like they don't, when they're on duty, they don't. And someone goes, "Wow, he's so well behaved," and I'm like, he's well trained. Like, I mean, he's easy. He's always been easy. But I think when you just watch, you can tell the difference. You know.
Yeah, that would be like me taking Pooh to the airport, saying he's a service. Yeah.
That's but he's cute. He's your personal protection dog.
That's also a thing.
Right, hear that? You're my personal protection dog.
There you go. He's so cute.
Yeah, but
What are you
he is
getting into?
not.
I hear you.
Is a service dog, and me trying to pass him off as one. I mean, it would be obvious.
Yeah.
He'd be barking at people. He'd go and he'd lift his leg on the side of a counter somewhere. Oh, he would, without a doubt.
I love it.
Well, and if he thought nobody was watching, he'd poop somewhere too. Okay, so, yeah, no.
I love it. But yeah, there was it.
You have the cards, the ADA.
It's like a little like deck of cards that like can fit in your wallet that basically have the laws, what you're allowed to ask, things like that. And also that it does state service animals do not have papers and blah, blah, blah. I bought them because it was just, if someone ever gave me that bit of a hard time, I could just hand it and keep walking. I've only given out a couple, but I try to educate because again, I'm not really confrontational. I can be. If it involves an animal, I definitely can be, but you know.
Now I'm Googling this on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They're like credit card shaped too, so you can like whip them out.
Yeah.
As needed. Yeah.
Oh, and just to ruin it, what's right under it? Right under it is
Oh no.
for $22. Custom service dog ID card with QR code and security seal. I'm like, unless that QR code goes to the ADA website.
I think it does. Somebody I know
have to.
has one that does, but I don't know. I mean, there's definitely.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
no, because
No.
the description says registration to U.S. Service Dogs Registry.
Ugh.
Ah.
It's like I almost wish there was, but at the same time, it's so obvious. But you know, it is what it is. But he got to go to Belgium, which was fun. he got to go in a castle because of it. I'm not gonna lie and say that wasn't awesome. Um, he did go on a riverboat tour with us, and it's funny because half the people in that boat did not know he was on the boat.
No.
He laid down at my feet. I sat in one of the middle seats, and he laid down, and he didn't move. And at the very end, everyone went, "Oh, there's a dog." Like,
Yeah,
yeah, there is.
that's
And
usually
although
how it goes.
one of our little group has a picture. I'll try to find it where somebody tried to take a selfie, like reaching up over with all of us. And that was the one time he poked his head up, so you just see like Gavin's face in the middle of the picture, like, hi. But no, he did everything, you know. And then luckily I didn't tire him out too much for Saturday, but he was asleep while I was grooming him in the face. I think Lauren got some close-up videos of his face, and you can just see his eyes are totally closed, and he's like, "This is cool." Nothing, nothing bothers this dog. But
All
yeah,
right.
it's
Well,
fun.
I'm going to get back on schedule with hitting commercial buttons. And then when we come back, we're going to ask you more questions about worlds and what a fantastic experience it was. And I'm going to ask an extremely journalistic question. I haven't done the whole super hard hitting journalism questions in a while. So you're going to get one.
Ooh,
Ooh.
I'm excited.
Are you feeling stuck in your mobile grooming business? Unsure about investing in a grooming vehicle? Or struggling to make your business thrive? Whether you're just starting out or looking to expand, the Mobile Groomers Bible is your ultimate guide to success in the mobile grooming industry. With decades of experience, Mary and Beth, leaders in the field, cover everything from starting a mobile grooming business to planning for the future. Let them help you take your business to the next level. Get your copy at positiveed.com/books. All righty. So not only did
Hello.
you get to travel to Worlds, to Belgium, it's in Belgium, right?
Yes,
And do fantastic things and compete, but you placed,
I did.
you placed first in poodles in Worlds. So I have to ask, Kayla, what does it feel like being arguably the number one poodle groomer in the world?
I mean, you're not the only person to ask me that.
Ah,
Um, Honestly, I still don't think it's that like actually set in my head at all. Um, but pretty awesome.
yay.
So I will admittedly say that over there in the poodle ring, it is toy and mini split and then standards.
Okay.
However, I'm
Fine. The
gonna
number
toot
one
my own horn.
standard poodle groomer.
I'm gonna toot my own horn for a second though. In the best in show are all of the first places from all the classes in both divisions. I was told by my judges and also Pina and a few people that were there, there's 7 judges that go around for best in show. 4 of the votes went to Jessica Daltrey with our Carrie. 3 remainder went to me and Gavin. So in my brain,
Wow.
if I was the next in line for best in show, then technically I beat all the poodles.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
But I went over there because between imposter syndrome and not really knowing where my skill or anything was compared, like I know how I do here, but you go over there and it's the best in the world, and you go, well, I'll see how I shape up. And they call finalists before they actually do the awards. They do the awards at the end of the day. So all of the classes come in, so you know you've placed. You don't know where. Um, and they said my name so funny when they said the finalist that I actually wasn't sure until I realized people were like, "Congratulations!" And I'm like, "Oh, I am a finalist. It's awesome." And I was getting my after photo, and my fiance is with me, and I'm talking to him, and I go, "Wouldn't it be funny if I won?" And of course he says, "Well, of course you did." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll take third. I wanted honorable mention. That would have been cool." Um, and when they actually placed us, which is, still like the most incredible thing was, you're standing there with the three of us. It was Macy, this girl from France, and myself, and all of the Groom Team USA people, everyone that came, we're all kind of in the ring, which I'm not sure if they're supposed to do that, but they did. And they're all kneeling down with their cameras out and everything else. And like that was really just a cool, is our people and our, and they called Macy third, and I'm like, all right, okay, cool. I got second. Like completely. I got second place. Like, oh my God, like this is so cool. And then they said the woman's name. I barely heard her name, but I heard from France, and I'm like, I'm not from France.
Did they got it wrong.
I literally, and then of course I see everyone losing their minds, and I'm like, and of course Gavin, who the whole time when they were doing the other divisions, he'll clap, and we need to do awards over here the way they do it over there. They blast music, there's lights, there's like craziness. It's a big podium. It's like this is like really cool. But every time that would happen, like Gavin would go full on show dog, and he's like, "Oh, show dog, I'm cool." And I'm like, "You're not that cool yet. Stand there. You're not you." And so when, of course, people around us have left, I knew they were calling me next. He was literally, if you go back on some of the videos, like I literally grabbed him off the table. If you watch, he actually jumps off the table. And they wanted all the tables the same height. And like he was like a few feet ahead above me. And I'm like, yeah, let's not drop your poodle off the table on a world stage. And he went complete dog mode for a minute when we landed because he just was jumping and mugging me like, "Mom, this is cool." And then the music started. Like it was so cool to see like everyone just be that just amped. It was just cool. I don't actually remember going up to the podium. I know it happened. I got there. I don't remember getting there. I just know I heard my name, went up. I remember hugging Colin Taylor and Barbara Frugal and Matthew, which is my three judges, and being just absolutely like, "Thank you." And they're like, "You did a good job." And I'm like, "I guess I did." I'm like, okay. But being up there with Macy was really cool because I just felt like I think poodles are most competitive here. So it was just nice to like replicate that there. And it's someone you compete with and see. It was nice. But yeah, I don't know. It was cool. It's still cool. I don't know how to top that one, so
That's a pretty good one. That's a pretty good one, I must say.
yeah. And I want one of those tables. I don't know if you saw the pictures of the tables. They light it up. You can change the color of the LED. You can change how bright or dim. It unlocks the wheels from both sides. I mean, just like stupid, silly things that groomers just, like. It had swing arms on both ends.
Oh.
And it was like bone shaped almost. So like you could really step into the table. Like your dog can't, I mean, Gavin's not gonna move, but it was just cool. I'm like, this is I get used to this. But yeah. Hi, buddy. So he is snoring currently next to me. Okay. We're talking about you. So yeah. I got that, and then there's of course the giant cup that's also sitting in my bedroom right now.
I'm very sad you didn't bring the giant cup with you so we could see it like in the background.
It's right here. I can grab it.
Grab that one. We want to see the giant cup.
Well, the ribbon's on the wall. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, that is a giant, gorgeous ribbon.
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. Hold on, I'll get.
It looks like it's as tall as you are.
It's close. So if I ignore my dirty room right now,
it's fine.
So
those are a lot of ribbons.
That's how big it is next to my head.
Oh, it's bigger than your head.
Oh, it's huge. Okay, hold on. Let me put you guys down here, and I will go find the cup.
Okay.
Well, I know where the cup is. So this was funny getting this home.
Yeah.
That is the cup.
I'm not sure I would have packed that. I might have just cradled that in my arms. Can this be my carry-on?
It almost was, but I was so afraid. Like, I'm trying to get it. There we go. Oh, sorry. Yes, I'm sitting. So that's it. And then I realized too, I don't know if I can hold this up to the camera, that I think my name's gonna start the new one on the side because it's full. So mine will probably be over here. But that's the plate. It's probably backwards because
Nope, it's fine.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah.
So so that happened.
So
And then
you get to keep that, right? Even though it has
I
everyone's.
have to give it back.
Oh, God damn
So
it.
yeah, I know. So I have looked into, hold on. I'm afraid to break it, which is why it's over here. Because I don't really want to tell Kitty I broke their perpetual memorial trophy because I think that would go bad. There's two crystal trophies too that I don't know where I put them. They're packed somewhere. They that got my luggage flagged so fast because I had two identical brick shaped
Uh-huh.
in a bag, but also with like, oh, it was, and the guy was so funny because he goes, so he x-rays the bag and he goes, of course, my luggage is poodles on it. So he sees me with my poodle and goes, this your bag? I said, yeah. He goes, okay, so you have, two, non-see-through like towers, like bricks in your bag. And I go,
Oh, bricks of.
and
Bricks.
of course, I then start laughing. I go, "Oh my God, those are grooming trophies." And he laughed. He's like, "Oh, that makes sense." I'm like, "Never open my bag. Just he goes, here you go, all set." And when he turned the screen to show me the X-ray of the bag, I'm like, "Oh my God, it looks like a bomb. It looks like two bombs. Oh my God, I totally see. They should have opened my bag. I would have opened my bag because they were like perfectly, and they came in boxes. I'm gonna try to find one of them at least so I can show you. They came in these little boxes with like this padding on them, and I had wrapped them so many times. Oh yeah, they are. Yeah, they're right here. Oh. And they had this. Oh, God. They weigh a ton for the record. I don't know where I'm gonna put them yet. Um, so they came in these boxes that have like really nice like things on them. But so this is what
Ooh.
they are. I'll hold it up and you can kind of see that there's like a globe and then it tells you what they are. And it weighs a lot, but you can imagine these
So
two.
question,
Yes.
question is, what happens if you don't bring that trophy back to Worlds?
Kitty will probably fly over here and shank me because
Okay.
I don't want to say I was threatened, but she's like, now you can take it. It has never left Europe.
Oh.
Um, and she goes, but you have to promise me it comes back. So I it's here. We're figuring it out. I'm
So
gonna
wait,
see if I can have like a slightly smaller replica made of it. Um,
no, not smaller, at the exact same size. No, a to scale replica that you drink alcohol out of. Like champagne
I
needs to
mean,
be drunk out of this.
oh, wait till you see a video that's gonna come out.
Oh
It's
no.
have have you seen Sophia's video with her with the Hershey? I'm gonna send it to you after. But
Okay.
basically, it's I don't even want to ruin it, but I've stitched on something with that video with that cup, and I just haven't posted it because I wanted to make sure it was still respectful. Because now I've learned a little more about who that cup was for, and I
Yes.
want to make sure it would be okay. Um, because it is after a gentleman that has passed. And I just want to make sure that would be the type of humor they would have appreciated before I do this.
Oh, that's
Um,
fair. That's very
yeah,
respectful of you.
yes,
All
I
right.
was like,
I'm gonna hit a button and we'll be back in 30 seconds. Seconds.
second,
I know when I'm
okay,
on the
peace.
road grooming, I want to keep things rolling along. With a 9-foot clearance, Hanvey mobile grooming vans actually fit through most drive-throughs to make lunch and banking on the go a breeze. With their clean running diesel engine getting up to 5 hours runtime per gallon, you're spending less time and money at the pump. Visit Hanvey.com today to configure the mobile grooming van of your dreams.
Okay, I actually want to do a quick shout out to Hanvey because they just made a sizable donation to the Pet Stylist Relief Fund.
Did did Denise open the email to find out what the donation
Yes,
was?
we did.
Are
Would
we
you-
allowed to say?
I don't know. It's substantial.
So I'm guessing more than 3 digits?
I'm going to put it in chat.
Ooh, do I get
She's
to see?
she's going to put it in chat, meaning
Oh,
holy. Oh,
that's
that
awesome.
was that was a whole extra digit than I was thinking. Holy for holies.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Shout out to Hanby.
And they're kind of, they were in the middle of the affected area from the first hurricane that hit down there.
They got flooded a little bit. Their phone lines were done. There wasn't much damage
Right.
to their business. I don't know about their homes,
Yeah.
but their business was I'll say minimally damaged in relation to some of the horrendous stuff we've seen.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Okay, so now that you're the number one poodle groomer in the world, where do you go from there?
I don't know. I I've actually been contemplating that for a bit. Because now it's, do I go for travel team? Do I go to a different one that's international?
Ooh.
Um,
Do you swap it up and get a terrier?
I mean, I eventually want to carry blue. That is definitely a thing. And not just because they match my dogs and they'll all be the same color, but it's a happy accident. I don't really know. I mean, I do hand strip a little bit. I'm learning. I dabble in other breeds outside of the contest ring. I can do more than I think most people realize I can, but poodles, they take up pretty much your life. Uh, I don't know. I don't know. I'm kind of just like going with it at the moment. But right now, I think the plan was to try for travel. So next year, I will see how many points I'll have to get beat.
I think you got this. I think you got this.
I'm gonna try.
Oh, I think, well, no, I don't quote Yoda. Don't quote
No,
Yoda.
you can totally quote Yoda.
Don't
Totally should
pull
quote
out
Yoda.
the there is no try, there is do or do not. And I think you're gonna do it.
I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do something.
Yeah. Yeah.
There'll be an attempt made. So we'll see.
Attempt was made. Now, are certain haircuts more competitive here or overseas, or because one of the beautiful things about poodles is they're such a versatile canvas.
Yeah.
But it seems like if you want to win or if you want points, there's certain trims that are either very popular right now, or because they're more difficult to execute correctly, you
Yeah.
get more points if you're done. So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. Because that's been a little goal of mine to see if I could place with all of the trims. Because again, instead of, say you're learning like a Lakeland or you're learning, I don't know, like an Irish setter, it's the same trim. It's the same trim. With a poodle, you have many. But there's definitely something to say for level of difficulty. I think it also depends on personal taste of your judge. Um, because even if you read our breed standard, if you look at a HCC or MCC, depending on what you like to call it, there's nothing in the standard that says the length of coat. So you could have a judge that likes a more sporty, tight HCC. And you could have another judge that likes a very kind of fancier, fuller one. You could, and then you have the 3 varieties. So you bring a toy in the ring, you have less time. There's no margin of error, say, on a toy compared to like a standard. If I'm doing a modern trim on each one, I can make mistakes on the standard, still have canvas left, to fix it.
Yeah.
If you take something too tight on a toy or even a mini, you're kind of done. Like now, on the flip side, if you can nail those trims on those size dogs in the time you have and you bring an ample coat, you may have an edge over something. Um, so it is kind of interesting. I mean, I do think a lot of people have been doing HCCs and everything thinking I can't do a spray up, so this is the next easiest thing. I will go on a I'll stand on a hill and say this, but an HCC I think is harder than a continental sprayed up. It just is. You have to scissor all of it and it has to balance. So that was my tangent, but basically like there's definitely like for me, I think every groomer has their strengths too. There are certain grooms I think someone could show up with that there is their bread and butter. I mean, I love doing spray ups. It's a trim I never planned or intended on competing with. There's a lot that, a lot of prep, a lot of breakdown after and everything else, and it's a lot to get done in the time you have. But now, of course, I'm addicted to doing them, but I also think I could bring, say, Gavin, who is that's my strongest trim. I know his body. I could fly through him. You have other people like Jacob brings out a German trim and he can wipe the floor with the rest of us because his trims are gorgeous. You have Macy who pulls the moderns. You have Summer who can pull a miniature poodle out in a continental and it's gorgeous. So I think you also got to play to your strengths, find what works, and then also find your edge of, which variety can you do in the amount of time you need and really nail it. I finally like New England. I brought Willow because my Continental fell through, and I had no intentions of using her, but it's been a goal to place the puppy trim, and I won with puppy trim. That trim
Nice.
is not easy, but it's little goals. You just kind of make them as you go, and that was a huge one. I think Julie texted me and she's like, "You did it, and you did it with a puppy trim," because she remembered. I'm like, I will place with this. I don't know when or how or where or who, but I will do it. And apparently, it took me being jet lagged and not really sure where I was after coming home from Belgium and walking into New England 2 days later. Um,
Just
that
full on
that
muscle memory. I'm just
oh,
grooming.
I think because we were all so tired and everything else, and it's just you just kind of go from what you know, like muscle memory, and it
Mhm.
worked. I think when you overthink it, but I mean, I think that's the fun thing about poodles, though. It's like you can come in with anything. You can come in with a show trim. You could come in with a trim that's not, non-regular, like your modern, your German, you know, and then you can do whatever the heck you want. You can pull in with the retro trims and have at it. I think it's fun, you know, but I do think some trims are more competitive, but I do think it depends on who you're bringing it to. Um,
And when you compete on this level and you have to rely so much on your tools, how hard is it to find a sharpener that you absolutely trust with your best competition shears? Like how I
I
just
love
slipped
that
that in
segue.
there?
That was a perfect segue. So admittedly, I have actually bought new shears to add to my competition shears because I was so horrified about actually having my dull ones sharpened until I met Mo. But
Yay.
it probably took me 5 years to find a good sharpener that I had some horrible, horrible things happen from very recommended sharpeners, and they're your children. You're handing them off. You like them to come back better than the way you dropped off. Um, and then I met Mo,
But with evolution shears.
Mo with Evolution Shears. So I gave him a couple that I had with me that like absolutely, I'm like, okay, I have to because these are not
I
cutting.
we know you gave them like test shears. We were like, these are the shears that are either chewed up and she doesn't expect them to come back cutting.
One had dropped and bounced several times. Like, oh, if he can sharpen this, he can sharpen anything because it bounced and then it bounced off my foot and then hit the grooming table's foot. It was bad.
Oh.
And then it stuck in the floor. Like it did a complete like gymnastics. It would have got a 10. It stuck the landing. Um, the one, but I also didn't have a lot with me because I had been recommended to like mail to this other person, which I never used because I never got around. They sat in a case collecting dust. But after the two, I think I gave him two or three at Hershey. And I went home and they cut better than when I had purchased them. And I was like, okay. And then I think I brought him like a dozen.
Yeah,
The
I think
next show.
so.
And I have not had issues. And I think I have told everyone yelling from the rooftops, like, I have found my sharpener. It's like the Holy Grail. The angels sang and they're having fun.
And yeah, a lot of people don't realize because they just see, the shears and that we're selling the shears. That's how I met them. They were my sharpeners.
Yeah. I
So-
didn't know I didn't know what came first, the chicken or the egg, if he was a sharpener or if he was like, we're gonna make these shears but I'm happy.
I don't know which is the chicken and which is the egg, but Abby was a groomer
Okay.
and she had to retire because she got carpal tunnel issues. Like she was having such hand pain, she had to retire. And then they got into sharpening. And then she went, if my hand didn't hurt, if I wasn't doing this thing, maybe I'd still be grooming. What if we did this? So that's, yeah, they were sharpeners. They were my sharpeners for years before
Yeah.
that was a twinkle in their eye. But
They're
yay,
wonderful.
we're so
They're
happy.
I am happy. It's stressful and I can't tell you how many times I had them come back where I went, those are dead. Yeah.
How?
When you're sheared.
Wait,
It hurt.
There's, I dropped them in the mobile van, the door was open. Yeah, they hit the ground and then hit the running board and then hit the driveway.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, the ones that fell and did the back handspring was at a dog show with concrete floor.
that's
And then
kind of
it went and then
impressive.
it stuck in a mat. It was bad. There
That's
were
impressive.
tears
I can
because it was one
imagine.
of those I shouldn't be bringing these to a dog show. And then I brought them to the dog show and then promptly dropped them.
And you're like, this is why I shouldn't be bringing them to a dog show. So how many shears do you have at home now?
Oh, I can't answer that question.
Like how many hundreds?
Oh, I don't know if I'm at 100. Oh, I might be. I don't know. Well,
If you
okay,
kept buying shears
Okay.
instead of sharpening, you've got to be at least at 100.
I'm up there. Well, you know what it is? You have the ones that when you start grooming and you think these are great, then you realize how to find balance shears for your hands and what you like. So then, okay, then you get that. Then you get a couple more. And then you decide, well, I don't really know what I like. And now there's all these scissor boxes. So you get a scissor box. And then you realize, yeah, it's not really for me. And then you start going to trade shows and
Yeah.
it's bad.
Listen, I'm retired from grooming. I probably have a dozen pair of scissors.
Yeah. It's like shoes, but
Yeah.
not. Well,
My original set of monks is kitchen stuff now.
I have a set of monks that were given to me when I started sending shears that have been sharpened so many times you can only see the bottom of the word monk. So you see two lines for the M, a little U for the O. It's like those things still work.
Listen, I cut a ribbon the other day with a pair of shears that I used to like split mats, and I looked at the brand and I'm like, I would start fights. I would start fights if I.
This nearly ripped my head off when because I'm got a
Do I
greenhouse.
have?
And so I got microgreens going, and you have to cut the microgreens with a decent pair of scissors.
It's got to be sharp. Like you can't tear the greens. I get it.
So I'm looking at my dozen pair of scissors, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm probably not going to be grooming ever again. Okay, so I just take my pair of Evolutions, and oh my God,
Oh,
yeah, but they're ergonomic, Chris. If I'm going to be cutting even though it's not dog hair. All right. I can bring him to Mo to get sharpened.
He's gonna go, what were you cutting?
All
You could
right.
make a line of kitchen shears.
You're technically correct. And you could bring them to be sharpened. All I'm going to ask you is please wipe them down and oil them after you do this. Okay?
I actually didn't use my evolutions. I did use another pair of scissors.
Okay. I am going to say they are good steel. They will hold up. Just please wipe them down and oil them so you don't have whatever moisture and corrosiveness and stuff.
Plant juice?
Plant juice. The blood of the plants on it. Oh, good God.
Oh, God.
I had other real questions to ask. Oh, there we go. Before we, because we do have one more commercial to go
You
through,
sure?
but
Talking to Chris?
we have 5 sponsors, right? I'm counting that as the evolution commercial.
Okay.
I'm counting
we've done
the
4.
sharpening. Yes, so we have done 4. So I'm going to ask a question that I halfway know the answer to. So you mentioned imposter syndrome earlier. Did this win help with that at all?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
I almost to a fault, I am not as confident as I think people think I am in the ring. I just don't. I compete for fun and just to improve myself, right? Like there's no pressure. The only times I've ever really stressed is when I'm doing a tag team or something because now other people are relying on me. So if I screw up, I have to answer to other people. But honestly, I honestly did not think I was even remotely competitive to go to Worlds. And there was a moment I think I even said out loud to a few people, what the heck am I doing? I've been in open for 2 years. I have a dog. That sounds great. I've gotten a couple things. I just got a jacket. What the heck am I doing? It but there was like a moment even on Sunday. It was Saturday that the Groomania like concluded. And the next day, yeah, I'm watching the world competition and of course Poodle's in the ring. So I'm now walking around like a maniac and I sat there and I said to a couple people I was sitting with and I went, I think I'd be perfectly competitive in there. And I kind of sat there and I kind of had that revelation of, I really have to stop doubting myself. Like, because I do. I definitely do. Since coming home, it just, I don't know, I'm starting to get more goals now, and I'm starting to feel like, well, maybe I can give lessons. Maybe I can start doing this.
Yeah.
It's weird. Well, because I always have that, like, why would someone want to listen to me mentality? And I'm working on it. But that definitely, I went to try to get a confidence boost, and it exceeded those expectations. But yeah, no,
Nice.
it definitely helped.
So now you belong on that stage.
Yeah, a little bit. Because I
Okay.
think for a while, I really did feel like the person that got on the team with just one dog. And, if I didn't have that one dog, would I actually have made it that far? But yeah, no, it's cool. I guess it doesn't matter at the end.
That's a question for the ages, whether it does or doesn't matter in the end.
That's
But
fair. That's fair.
all right, so I am going to hit our last button, and then we'll wrap up any other questions we might have.
Okay.
I love being a house call groomer, but I hate doing laundry or worrying about asking my clients for fresh towels. Raypet has solved those problems for me with the Wet Pet disposable towel. Taking up much less space than traditional cotton towels and easy to wring out and reuse, these super soft, comfy, absorbent towels eliminate any cross-contamination concerns between pets. And now their new smaller washcloth size can even help those sensitive eye areas. Great for cleaning out wrinkles gently and thoroughly. Need to keep water bowls for your clients on hand that are easy to disinfect, but hate all the room traditional clanky metal bowls take up? Or just have a very active pet? Their collapsible silicone bowl comes with an aluminum D-ring hook that can be attached to your pet's leash or anywhere else in your van for easy storage. You can get one by itself or in their handy travel kit, along with a set of 3 tick removers and 1 small wet pet towel. So stop by their website to check it out, raypet.net, and tell them the Traveling Groomers sent you. All right, Mary, is there anything else you desperately wanted to ask before I start firing away?
So, I have another question, I'll let you know.
Okay. I will actually have to pick your brain later because I believe I know what shampoo company you are a brand ambassador for. So
Yes.
people have been getting me to try ISB stuff, and I have been cursing them soundly for it. Like
For good or bad reasons.
For good reasons, because they're really good products. They're not cheap, but you don't have to use a lot. But I am a frugal person. So
the start is the upfront.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
the long run, it hurts less.
Oh yeah, I believe I actually, literally cursed out Angie and called her. I'm like, this is your fucking fault.
I was using them. I don't use anything else. I really
So could what shampoo did they provide shampoo? What are you doing behind the tub? Sorry.
No, it's cool. He's looking for your ISB shampoo.
He is. Thank you. You found a dust bunny. Clearly, I have been remiss. Dumbass. So when you compete, do you obviously in the States you can bring and you can pack and they're at a lot of shows to grab stuff, but when you're travel overseas, did you have a choice in products?
There definitely was stuff supplied that you could use communally that some of the vendors kind of like what they do here. ISB was actually there, the Italian, the OG ISB, which was pretty cool. I got to meet all of them. I did bring my own. I also, because I'm extra ridiculous, the water over there is so soft that it feels slimy when you are washing.
Mm-hmm.
Which I knew going into that was going to be a thing. I actually kept. So Colin Taylor has these, and Lauren have these really awesome spray bottles.
I have several of them right over there. Yes.
They're TSA approved. Also, they are also. They're under the. I checked and I brought 5 of them with me, all with our water. So all of my scissor spraying and conditioner at the end was our water. And they locked. Let me tell you, they were amazing. So I brought any of my spray bottles that came over with me were filled with just plain our stuff and checked or brought on. Because that was something I didn't have any problems. I actually prepped Gavin the day before Poodle, which I do here, didn't have a problem. So
I actually heard an old school groom team story about them running around like crazy people for lemons.
Lemon juice or anything acidic. Also, apparently Listerine.
Oh, okay.
I saw a few people over there doing that. I stuck to what I knew. I used my caviar. It worked just fine. And you know, I mean, I guess that's kind of a lie. I usually do add a little conditioner to my coats when I compete still. Some people frown on that. It works. I get rid of static. But I didn't condition him there because I knew I was going to spray it on after as I scissored. So still same end result pretty much enough, but it definitely worked.
So what was your favorite non-grooming related part of the trip to Belgium? Just the experience and being overseas and doing different and fun things. Did you get a chance to do anything
Grooming related or sightseeing?
non-grooming related?
Non-grooming related.
Like food, sightseeing.
I want to go back to Bruges and stay there forever. I was never really big on, I didn't think I'd want to go sightsee around the world. There's a couple places, yeah, I want to see some things. But like walking down like a cobblestone street and you're looking at these buildings that were made in the 1100s and you're like, it's like walking back in time. Like it was just so cool. And the waffles every corner. Um, I mean, I just that and the history behind it all was just so like everything was pretty. Everything looked like a postcard. Um, I want to go back to Bruges. They even said that Gavin could have come on a horse-drawn carriage. We ended up not doing that, but we knew we could have. We got carried away. We did a boat tour instead. But the day before, we had gone to Ghent, and we went to castle. I had never been in like a legitimate. I mean, there is a castle in Gloucester where I live. I've never been there, but
What,
this was like
Gillette Castle?
Hammond Castle is here.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I've
but
never
it's
been
not
there.
the same.
It's not the same. It's not the same. So I mean, I got to bring my dog and myself and my friends and basically walk through this medieval castle. And the funny thing is, in hindsight, looking at some of the pictures, I realized what we should have been doing. But they give you these little walkie-talkie things that look like they're little handheld, and you go through the tour. And basically, what it is you get to a number, and you type in the number, and it talks for like I don't know, a couple minutes. So every picture we like stop to take, it looks like we're all on our cell phones because we're all standing like that. And I'm like, oh my God, everyone's gonna think like, look at these damn millennials like on their phone and it's like medieval castle. I'm like, no, we're learning. But no, I think just seeing things and experiencing just other cultures and like that was just cool. The food was amazing. Um, but no, Bruges, oh my God. Yeah, I want to. I'm going back. It's good. Which now I have an excuse because I have a giant cup sitting on a bureau that
Well,
needs to.
now, regardless of what your future grooming plans are, now you have to, because you have to return the cup, and that's not something I would trust to the mail. Let's be.
No.
No.
The only thought I had is I have friends that do fly overseas that I could say, can you take this with you? And once there, but I kind of just see it as an excuse for another vacation.
So are you you're the
Return
first non,
Yeah, I think I had to look at the names, but it has never gone to North America. I don't think it's ever
Okay.
left the continental
Okay.
Europe, which is pretty cool. Because it's the first time it's left. So, and it's pretty. Um, but yeah, it might be a good excuse to bring it back. But I mean, yeah, I guess walking around that Bruges was huge. That was just fun. I was gonna say the other thing was if there was one thing from the grooming experience, other than the individual things that happen, it was having this feeling, and I wish we had this at our trade shows. It Everything was celebrated around celebrating groomers and the art that a groomer can do and really being celebrated as a groomer, which I don't think we quite get that here like this. This was, you have the contest ring in the middle of all the stuff, and it was like leisurely. There were couches you could sit and talk
wow.
oh yeah, it was like the bar, and they had this like lounge, and you could but everything was situated where the focal point was the grooming ring. And it was very much like this is the artistry of our industry and these talented people. And it was like a very welcoming, like the whole world coming together and celebrating what we do. And that was really cool. Like it was just a feel good, I don't know. I've never really experienced that in that way. And it's fun.
It sounds like an absolutely amazing experience.
Yeah. Everyone should just go. Like even if you're not competing, just go. And they have a beginner division. So there's beginner, and then there's open, and then there's championship, and there might be another one in there. They have a doodle class. There's other classes.
They have a doodle class?
Yes, they have a doodle class.
That's
They have doodle.
phenomenal.
They have it takes two, where you have two people groom. They have some other fun. They have an Asian fusion. Um, they have some cool stuff. And like the beginner class, I think would be like our entry intermediate, an equivalent. Open is still open. Champion is when you have won your class that you're entering in, or you've been named to a groom team, or you've won a best in show. And that's what I got suckered
That's
into.
so you next year would be in the champion division?
I was already because I'm on groom team.
Oh,
And I've won
okay.
2 best in shows. So I had, yeah, no, that was,
Okay,
this
so
was fun.
basically you're hot shit and you didn't 100% accept that.
No.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
It's
I
kind
mean,
of
I'm
awesome.
gonna, it's, the whole thing was awesome. I mean, the whole,
You know what? It's very weird, and I know we're wrapping up because Mary's probably got poke and cheese time, but like a whole nother episode could be how we see ourselves, and maybe it is a uniquely American thing where if you are, seems like there's a fine line between hubris and being full of yourself and having complete imposter syndrome. And there's no absolute healthy medium. There is a healthy place in between,
yeah.
which we seem to have problems with. And
Yeah.
it's got to be some kind of cultural thing that I would
mean,
love to explore.
I've been accused of humble bragging. I've been accused of, and I'm just like, if you got to know me, you'd know I've really, no. I honest to God was like, I did not, none of this I expected the way everything. The last 2 years, I haven't, I still don't really know what my life is. I just kind of go with it and it's working.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna keep
Okay.
doing it. But yeah, I think it is okay to feel insecure. I wish we all lifted each other up more than we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's also a thing.
That's the thing. That could totally be a whole episode.
That see, look at that, Mary. Now we have plans on waffles.
Oh, waffles.
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 All right.
I can't. Amazing. They were amazing. I like waffles.
I'm not sure what's not to like about waffles, but
They can be
anyway,
dessert. They can be savory. You have chicken with them. I'm just saying.
every meal. All right. Mary, anything else we forgot to touch on? You want to
I
say
think
we should mention?
Howard, and I just want to, congratulate Kayla
Yes.
for being the #1 groom groomer in the world.
Thank you.
Woo!
Wait, I can't find the.
It's still going.
Still going. For a minute. That's a very long applause button that I try to talk over, and it's just loud and doesn't.
It just said no. It said no.
No, we must applaud. All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to.
Thank you.
This was fun.
Anytime. I love doing this.
All right. Well, guys, enjoy. Have a fantastic Halloween. This is coming out right before the Pet Pro Classic, which I will see you guys at. I think I'm the only one of the 3. You had to cut down on some traveling. You needed to breathe and
Yes.
and be home and know what state and time zone you're in. So it's fair. All right. So guys, we will see you here next week. Be safe. And where the hell did I put there it is. Button. Bye now. Safe travels. Well, that was fun. But now it's time to head home. We hope you enjoyed listening as much as we enjoyed chatting with you. If there are any topics you'd like us to discuss or guests you want to see join us on this crazy road trip of ours, Let us know in the Traveling Groomers Facebook page. Don't forget to thank our sponsors. And see you next week, guys. Safe travels!